What is up, guys? It's Jimbo here, and welcome to a different type of video. Today, I'm here with a good friend, Prati Matti, to talk about some things within gaming. It's a type of content I've wanted to do for quite a while, more podcast-based stuff, a long-form video that I can put out once a week. This is just kind of like a little tester video, and today, Matty wanted to get together with me to talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows, and also in the latter half of the video talk about the Summer Games Fest and Xbox showcase, and just some general games industry stuff that has been going on. So there'll be a point at the end of the Assassin's Creed discussion where it will kind of cut, purely because me being a wally that I am, I recorded over some of the audio. The audio wasn't exactly quite right there. So let's introduce you to Matty. Hello, Matty. Introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself.
I am Prati Matti, otherwise known as Matt or Matty, and make variety content. Started out with video games, but I do a lot of voiceover work and other bits and bobs like that.
And are you a long-time Assassin's Creed fan?
Yeah, from the first one. Played every single one, all the way, even the side-scrolly ones, all the way through. And enjoys Assassin's Creed very much.
Okay, so we've got a bunch of details, thanks to some a really good Twitter account that I follow called Shinobi. Funnily enough, we have one of those in the game as well. And he's basically doing a summary of stuff. I did a video talking about it the other day. Ubisoft sent me some stuff to talk about it. It's already on the channel if you want to go and check that out. But we're going to have a bit more of an informal discussion about Assassin's Creed. So let's move over to the fancy screen we have right here. I'm going to turn that off for just a moment because I've got the video to play. But we have the key art right here of Assassin's Creed Shadows. And as you can see, there are dual protagonists in the game. We have the samurai character, which is a real-life character called Yasuke, a African samurai. And we also have, I believe she's not historical, she's just like been made for the game, which is Naue, who is a shinobi assassin. Now, I know you're more familiar with dual protagonists because you've played Syndicate and I haven't. So, what are your initial thoughts of having dual protagonists in the game and just Assassin's Creed Shadows from seeing the CGI trailer to begin with?
Well, in the CGI trailer, you could see that they work together in a way. Assassin's Creed has always been very much you are a one-man army against the world, which is great, but can get a little bit boring sometimes. So I'd be interested to see if with these two characters, you're able to set up ambushes, you're able to position one, tell them to wait, or even use it like a AI, so you're not just by yourself. So I feel like the thing about Brotherhood, although you created your own Brotherhood and had lots of assassins working for you, never really felt that I was working with anybody else. It was always just me. And I know, they're assassins and they're meant to be secret and sneak up on people and things, but I'm interested to see where the teamwork element is going, and whether is that going to be an online thing? Are we going to be able to play with two of us completing missions, or is it just going to be the gimmick for the fact that you can swap between characters, and we haven't seen that in a little while?
Okay, yeah, I can vibe with that. Definitely, I think I can echo that same statement. That I'd love to see the two different styles of gameplay, for specifically like having Naue being more of the shinobi, and then Yasuke being the more direct samurai approach. And if you could like swap between them on the fly, I think that would be something that's really cool. But I'll put it up on screen now. But this is the CGI. Oh no, that's the Xbox showcase. The CGI trailer we have right here. And I think the overwhelming feeling I get is that they're going to be having an intertwined story. There's going to be something with the two characters that connects them. And if we see that in gameplay, I definitely think that, as you say, it'll be a little bit more refreshing than not like being able to tell them to do specific stuff. We do know from information that we are going to be able to create our own Shinobi League, so it has elements of, Brotherhood, Syndicate, I don't believe you could do it in Unity. No, but you had like a ship crew in Black Flag and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So there's always been those like little elements here and
Yeah, but
there.
again,
Especially.
they're just sort of there and they do a
Yeah,
job, but you don't feel much unity with that. And Assassin's Creed is meant to promote, all of these people working together in the shadows,
yeah.
but it always ends up feeling very much you are alone in this. Um, I'm interested to see if they're going to add in any team play elements. I'm excited to see where it's going to go.
So, in terms of some of the details that we do know about each of the characters, these are the information that we have. It says, well, Yasuke is actually a real historical character. They were brought to Japan via, I think it's a Jesuit missionary. I don't know if I've pronounced the first name quite right. But they served under Oda Nobunaga, who is also going to be a prominent figure in the game. From some of the material that I received from Ubisoft the other day, they really hype him up as one of like the leading faction guys that's trying to unite Japan or like basically take over parts of Japan during this period of time, which is like 1579 to 1581, something along those lines. And then we have Naue, who was brought up in the Ida province, or Iga province, I think it is, and she's been trained to be an assassin. And both of the details that we know are, one of them is more obviously head-on, more samurai focused. You can hazard a guess which one of those is going to be more closely doing that. And then obviously the shinobi elements is going to be more of the assassin gameplay. Now, when we recorded this just a minute ago, before we re-recorded this, there was a point of discussion which was to talk about how I think you said that it would be good to have them to see what each of their gameplays is, and it would be weird, not weird, but a little bit different if like you just had a mace and all this big armor running on top of the buildings and stuff.
If you are the character with all the armor, you're not likely to be running around stealthily. You are the tank, and you're going in there to do exactly what you can see here: screw things
just
up
smacking
for other people.
stuff up. Yeah,
stick big things, hammer. Whereas the assassin gameplay, you're going to be more able to sneak around on the rooftop. So are they each going to have their own traits? So are you not going to be able to climb as well with the character with the armor? And
that could be something.
whereas the assassin, are you not going to be as good at taking hits, but you're going to be fast and nimble, but maybe not able to take on hordes of enemies as such. So it'd be interesting to see how that plays out.
I agree. I think that the thing that will make this game stand out and not just feel like they've put dual protagonists in for the sake of it is if each of their gameplays is uniquely different. And at least from what we are seeing from some of the other information that we have, that apparently Yasuke's fighting style is a more head-on direct combat with parries, breaking armor plates, decapitation finishes, also a nice touch. But then Naue is going to be more agile, stealthy, uses a grappling hook, which you said is something that you're very much excited for in our previous recording.
Absolutely, yeah. The grappling hook, from what I read, is going to be more based on, it's going to be random. So it's going to depend on the environment, might depend on the conditions. So it's not always going to be safe to use as such. So it might be that the grappling hook, although is a really good tool, might not be as trustworthy. Maybe to get rid of that element that you would then feel like you could just climb and do anything you like. There's always going to be a sense of danger to it, which I'm all here for that. I know it's not a completely realistic game and that it's set in fantasy. That's fine, but it's nice to have the fact that the weaponry could fail.
Yeah, like the key thing that you mentioned there about the different conditions, because they have said about there being seasons in the game that will affect gameplay. And I'm not talking about your battle passes, your Fortnite, your Call of Duties. I'm talking about your actual seasons like winter, spring, summer, and autumn. Apparently, the way that you engage with gameplay is if there's, say, for example, a castle and there's a pond, and during the summer and the spring you can swim through it, and there's like more ways to approach the game, like the stealth elements. And then in the winter, that's frozen over, and then there's more things in the environment that can be set off. Like they even said, in the winter, braziers that are around that they can stand by, like the guards can stand by to get warm. So it could have changed guard patterns. Like, oh, I can go through there now because someone's cold and they want to stand by this, fire to warm up, and then that could change how things are. And then it seems just like maybe some of the castles that you're going to visit will kind of change and you're going to revisit them again. That kind of feels like a thing. So maybe something happens in the game where you revisit them. But yeah, it'd be very interesting to see. Some of the gameplay shots, though, in the CGI trailer are really awesome. I like, I say gameplay shots, like the animations and things that they were showcasing look pretty cool.
Hooks,
yeah, we've got the short sword, the big mace that we got here, and they've also really put on a dedicated focus towards destruction in the game a little bit more. So like being able to create, the doors, the shoji doors, that the thing you just smashed through right there, and breaking the environment a little bit as well. I think that's going to be something that will be quite interesting with gameplay. And going back to our conversation that we literally just had like 40 minutes ago when we recorded this, we had a little discussion about how the Assassin's game, like the Assassin's Creed element, isn't necessarily there anymore. Like it is an Assassin's Creed game because of the title, but you brought up a point about Mirage being like one of the first Assassin's Creed games like in a while that's been like an assassin game.
Definitely.
Like what do you think about that? Like what's your take on it all?
Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla are great games. There's no doubt about that. It's just that it's Assassin's Creed RPG. I'm not as interested in all the characters, all the NPCs, life stories, and things. And I find that the more recent games, there's just been so much dialogue to go through, and I'm really bad for skipping that kind of stuff. I'm just not as interested in those characters, and I found Odyssey was just so big, and that was amazing, and there were some amazing opportunities in Odyssey. But the fact that she lived in a Greek world and didn't have a shield or anything like that, but we won't go into that. But it was just too much. I lost the storyline. I didn't really care about the character at the end. I just wanted to get to the end of the storyline.
Yeah, would you say there's a lot of bloat in those games, and it kind of became a little bit too big?
Origins, it was more about finding and discovering like the past and the history of it. Great, get that. Could follow that. Valhalla, it was all set around building up the village and following the character as he explored the UK. Great, understood that. That was really interesting as well. Odyssey, you got the whole of Greece to explore. Wow, that sounds amazing, but just too big. Just went on and on and on, and I lost it. So we also don't have things as prominent like the Hidden Blade. You've got assassinations, but they're not really the same in those three games.
Yeah, it wasn't Mirage, the same feeling. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, Mirage felt like a return to form, even though there was still no double assassinations, which I sorely miss. Mirage felt not just because it was back in that setting that was similar to Assassin's Creed 1, but because it went back to its roots of running around on rooftops, sneaking about, being an assassin, and opening up more and more of the map as you go, and exploring. And yes, the RPG versions had that exploration element, but I just there was just too much else to do.
Yeah, it became
I just lost interest.
It was kind of like a checklist type thing where you're going around and you're not really doing the main objective a lot of the time. And
which is I'm worried for the new one, because it seems like again they've said that you could do the objectives in any order, but that for me kind of gets rid of the storyline a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm worried that if it's going to be like that, then I'm going to lose track of the storyline again. So I really enjoyed Syndicate. I don't understand the hate that got. Maybe because it was set in London, but
haven't played it, so I can't comment on it. Yeah, I think I need to.
It's a really great game.
I think I need to at some point go back and and play it. I think I have it on Ubisoft Plus from like when they did it like a free giveaway or something ages ago.
Yeah.
So I'd have to go back
It's well
and
worth
try that.
playing. I mean, again, there's a lot of dialogue again in that, but
Mhm.
there's a bit more sort of world building and just interest in the world really. So yeah, I'm excited for the new one definitely, and I hope you can see that there's a hidden blade. So I hope that there's still an assassination um, element to it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I hope that they've learned a lot from Mirage and are going forward with that rather than making their own thing.
Well, see that you make a good point there with the hidden blade because they've said that in the game, at least at the moment, you can use the hidden blade. This is all from details that are not to do with like we haven't got any gameplay, so we can't actually see. It's just kind of like here's the thing we're actually doing, but we haven't shown you anything yet apart from in the trailer a little bit. Is you can
Yeah.
pop out the hidden blade and then either hold a button or like continue to hold it, and then it turns it into a knife, like a is it a tanto or a canto? I think it is. I can't remember the name of it. That's like a backup weapon that you can have with a sword, so you can kind of dual wield as well. So there'll be interesting like an element there, and I do agree with you. I've seen a lot of statements online that at least talking about Assassin's Creed, the more recent ones, that it's not an assassin game anymore. It's more of a like an RPG, and I definitely agree with that. It feels like they definitely took because I think before Origins came out was when Witcher 3 came out, which was like 2015, I believe it was, and then from there they went into like their own RPG stuff to kind of emulate that. But I had a good time with Odyssey. Didn't actually finish it because other stuff came up. Haven't played Valhalla, so I'd like to play that. And obviously Origins, I've probably played quite a bit of that as well. I have played Mirage. I'm planning on going back to continue playing Mirage at some point in the future. Now, one thing that I will say about Assassin's Creed that I wanted to get your Assassin's Creed Shadows, I should say, to get your take on it. Is there anything that you want to explore in feudal Japan that you like? Because there's an example in Origins. Go and see the pyramid. Go and climb up to the top of the pyramid. Is there something in here or something historical, like even though they massage history a little bit, that you really want to see in this game specifically?
It's an area of history that I'm not too familiar with, to be honest. So I'm really excited to see where they go with it, to see how they teach that history, because I think a lot of people probably aren't too aware of that kind of world and are only have only made up their own minds, maybe mix it up with other Asian cultures as well. So it'd be interesting to see how they've set that apart to show that no, actually this is more Japanese culture, and also to see how much you said it was similar sort of size to Origins.
Yeah, in the term they've stated that the open world is going to be as big as Assassin's Creed Origins. Now,
so
I don't know how
that
big that would be because I'd have to look at the map. But here's the thing.
So we're getting a small section of Japan in a way then.
Quite possibly. I think we'll get. It seems like we're going to get at least the Iga province, which I don't know how big that is. So there's like a mountainous region. They've also said that there's a port called Sakai, which is where a lot of like the merchants come in from. So there's going to be there. And I know we briefly touched on it in the previous recording of it, talking about how at least the world of Assassin's Creed, the open world, is every much a part of the gameplay experience. So having a distinct difference between like fortresses and castles to like towns and ports, that type of stuff. And is there anything that you want to see in terms of gameplay? Like we talked a little bit about the synchronization towers. I know you touched on that a little bit before.
Well, no, they're not going to be used as in the same way as before. So they're not going to be they won't reveal all of the map like they used to, but there'll certainly be more of a point that you can look around from, which is similar to how Origins played. It didn't just open up everything, which it's a bit of a shame because I'm kind of used to that
Hmm.
that way of playing, and I liked it in Mirage. You could climb up a tower and get a good oversight. It seems to be more going to be judged from what the player can see as to what you
Hmm.
can tag. If I'm reading that wrong, please correct me. But that
Well, yeah, we
seems
don't
to be the
know.
way.
It's all gameplay. They're waiting for gameplay at the moment. So yeah,
As long as I can jump off of a tower in the eagle pose into a haystack and it make that noise, then I'll be happy.
yeah, you're happy. But you know what it might be? They
Yeah.
might do. They might do like what's the name of the guitar? It's like the Japanese like diddling, like as you like jump off or something like that.
Ah,
Like
okay,
as you
yeah,
jump off into the thing.
yeah.
That'd be
I like
something
that.
interesting. At least
I mean, it's
from my perspective, from the synchronization towers, I've been a proponent of like I'd like to see them do it differently, and that seems what they're doing here. It's a very core part of Assassin's Creed, I know,
Yeah.
but doing something different, I think, would be kind of nice. So you're not just going up to the tower and having all the markers out, like as a vantage point to be able to see where you want to go. Yeah, like completely. I think that's something I'd like to see
Yeah.
them change. But yeah, what were you going to say? Sorry, I interrupted you there.
No, it's just what I do know about Japan about in that time. It was kind of destabilized, and it wasn't as under an emperor as such, because there were
Mhm.
lots of different lords. So yeah, are we going to see different factions owning different areas?
Mhm.
Are we going to be involved in battles like we were a lot more in Assassin's Creed 3 and a little bit in Odyssey, although a bit of
Oh
a weird,
yeah, I
disjointed way.
remember those. Yeah.
Are they going to make more of a return? Because if the whole of Japan is falling apart, and the assassins are there trying to stitch things together or make way to power for people that they want to see get into power, yeah, how's it going to play out? Are we
It
going to see
feels
big
like
battles, big historical battles?
Yeah, it feels like at least the way they're presenting it, that because of Yasuke's combat, that like the way that he's being proposed to play, that you could potentially be on like the front lines as him during, like there could be a setup that you do with like behind the scenes faction stuff, because we do know there's one faction under the Lord Oda Nobunaga, and
Yeah.
they're actually a real person, and that's who Yasuke was employed by at the time.
Right.
So whether or not you're doing his bidding or you're kind of playing a double agent as him and going into those battles and such, will be interesting. It's interesting that you actually say that. The just remembering like the musket battle from number 3 that there was, like,
Yep.
because it was at the time with like the Revolutionary War, I think it was, like between the British and the Americans, and then you got the Odyssey battles, obviously the Peloponnesian War. So
It seems
yeah.
like a period of civil war
Yeah.
for Japan. So yeah, are we going to see that? Assassin's Creed has always been very good at telling historical stories and sharing what it knows. I think they get their sources really well resourced, and they get all that information into the game, whether it be as a text or a book or something else. But I think anyone who says that they've learned a lot of history directly from Assassin's Creed might want to go to an actual history lesson or a historian, just double check some of their facts, with Templars and things like that.
I'm pretty sure Leonardo Da Vinci didn't create a helicopter or like a flying bomb dropper that he did on, I think it was Assassin's Creed 2 that you used.
And then lent it to an assassin to save his town. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I like the way that they've always massaged they have the history there,
it's
and then
fiction and fantasy intertwined, and who knows? The way that they write it, who knows? That those people could have had dealings with your character in the past, and that's what's clever about it. It's not saying that this is stuff that's happened. It's just like, oh, by the way, there was this extra character there that was an assassin. But of course, you're not going to be able to see them or know about them, because otherwise they'd be a really bad assassin.
Yeah, exactly. There's a joke around at the moment. I won't touch on the controversy too much, but a lot of people have put a massive focus on Yasuke at the moment, and like, why is there not like a male Japanese protagonist, and people are completely missing. They're saying that Naoe is the best assassin ever because she's hiding in plain sight, and you can't see her. Like just like she's right there. That's the character. And I think that's just a funny joke that people are like, she's the best assassin ever because, you know, you can't like he's like that Drax meme. You know, the one where he's like, if I stay completely still, I'm invisible, and he like she's right there. And I think that, as you say, if you find
female samurai, so
exactly, and
I don't understand why people are so bothered about it. You know, there's a male and there's a female. Great.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I think that I'm mostly interested about the shinobi side of things because we don't know too much about them, and that's where she's coming from, and her background, and I would like to know about how that actually links to the Brotherhood, to the Brotherhood of Assassins or the Hidden One. Like, how does that link together? Like, there's a link within the Shinobis of, say, someone from the past that in the past Assassin's Creed games that kind of ties it all together. That's the type of thing that I'm very much interested in story, at least story-wise, from Naoe's perspective. And then, as you say, don't take historical accuracy from Assassin's Creed. Like they have their facts right to what it is, but they definitely they have fun with it. Which
they play, they play around with it. Oh, well, one fact is, around the time that this is set, there were lots of, I think it was either Portuguese. I know you touched on like Portuguese traders in the past. Portuguese, Spanish traders coming over, but also like the conversion to Christianity. For a lot of Japan. So, is that where the assassins trait has come from? Because
the Templars could be coming in and doing something with, because they have links to the Christianity in the other games. That I think that is right. I think they have something to do with it because they do stuff with the church in the second game, I believe, something along those lines. But yeah, that's also something that could be quite interesting in terms of gameplay and in terms of story and what they decide to do. And yeah, you brought up a really interesting point there about
there's lots of other things popping up, aren't there?
Yeah, like I can definitely envision at least the way that they present the game. They always present the game. They're always very graphically quite good looking. Gameplay, although the activities may be a little bit bloated, on the whole, gameplay is pretty nice and well put together. I suppose it's the best way to describe it. I'm running out of words to describe things when it comes to this. And I think one of the activities I'd at least like for them to touch on in terms of Japanese culture is like taking mythological beings like a dragon, or not a dragon. There's a specific dragon from the Japanese era that I'm trying to think of. I'm probably thinking of the wrong name for it. But there's also like the Oni demons, and then there's demons that that attach to people's souls, and some cool supernatural element would be nice to kind of go down that route as as a side thing to do with the game, because I know they did that in Origins a little bit. I think it was. I remember in Odyssey specifically, they had the mythical beasts that you'd go and hunt, and there was the boar. There was a deer that you would go and hunt and stuff like that. So if the demons are in there, like Japanese Oni demons, would be pretty cool. Something like that would be pretty cool as well. I know we're all over with things. We're just gonna get excited about the game. I know we're only seeing a CGI trailer, not a gameplay trailer yet, but we will see more at Ubisoft Forward. Which what do you want to see at Ubisoft Forward in terms of gameplay to really go, yes, nailed on, I'm interested in, I'm gonna get this game now? Or are you still gonna be
it's got to be the grappling hook, right? Grappling hook, throwing knives. Yeah, let's just find out about that straight away. Let's see how that's going to work, and any of the other gadgets they're going to include. That would be awesome.
So that's what you want to see, some of the Assassin's gadgets and stuff. I think, at least for me, I want to see how they do the swapping of the characters. I want to see how they show if whether you can do it within the same mission, like if you're doing a door mission, how it works in the open world, like some of the side activities that you can do potentially. Not an overly amount, like we want to discover a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, I think that's what I really want to see, and I suppose it's nice to be excited about an Assassin's Creed game again, because I was excited about Mirage, and haven't finished that. I do want to go back and continue to play it, to do like a revisit of it, maybe on the channel at some point. But I think the last one was Valhalla, which was 2021, I think, when Valhalla came out. Or maybe even longer than that. I know they've been working on this for like the last 4 years, since they put out Odyssey, the team that's behind it. So they made Syndicate and Odyssey. So kind of makes sense that they're doing, a dual protagonist in this. So yeah, as you can see there, November 15th is when the game is going to be coming out. And what I'll do right here is, as we had another discussion about the Summer Games Fest, Xbox, and a bunch of other games industry stuff, and I will move it on to Path, Jimbo, with the power of editing and magic and stuff. So thank you very much for watching this portion of the video, and I will leave you with Pastor Jimbo and Matty. So the other day, Jeff Keighley, the man that runs all of this stuff, announced all of the partners, or round one of the partners. I think there's 55 total. I don't think there's 55 on this specific picture right here. There's a couple of names, things like big names, Xbox, Ubisoft, Warner Brothers, 2K there, Capcom, PlayStation, Focus Entertainment, Embark, Riot, a bunch of other stuff in there as well, and there's apparently some others as well. Is there any other names that you see in there that stand out to you, that you are specifically interested in?
PlayOn.
PlayOn's
in there, big hitter. Supercell as well. So, is that a mobile game, or is that something more? Yeah, more on Steam. Don't know.
Okay, yeah. I remember. I think Supercell does. They Clash
of Clans.
Clash of Clans.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, with this event, because last year we did talk when we got together on the Untitled Games podcast, we talked about E3 and all the stuff that was going on then. First of all, what do you think about E3 not being a thing anymore? What do you think about it?
It's sad. It is sad, but things have got to move on. Things have got to change. And if E3 wasn't working, then it wasn't working. But then you need to have a place for people to go to. I feel, even though we exist in online worlds, a lot of the time, it is nice to have that physical event to say that, oh yeah, I went to that. Look at TwitchCon, Insomnia, and EGX. Very sad news about Insomnia recently as well.
Yeah,
is really unsure about the future of that. We need those physical events to meet people and to see each other face to face and realize that, all right, yeah, they're human. They're not just like this ungodly video box god.
Yeah, and being able to celebrate games is what E3 I think is, at least what I always call it Gamer Christmas, because it's the time you get to see all of the upcoming games, what you want. Back in the day when you used to get the latest catalog and go to the back and pick out all the toys that you wanted for Christmas. It's the same type of deal surrounding those. At the moment, I think that we won't really feel the effects of E3 for a little while. I think it's purely because we had this. We had the Summer Games Fest come in, and we had the Xbox showcase. PlayStation does their own thing. Nintendo does their own thing. Ubisoft does their own thing as well. And I think it kind of... the writing was kind of on the wall when this became a regular thing. And then E3 kind of tried to save it. And then eventually just kind of... it fizzled out. And everyone was like, oh, okay, it's over now. And now we have this. There is the days
Well,
of play thing as well that
yeah,
Summer
I
Games
mean,
Fest
like,
runs
hopefully
in.
this is a money-saving exercise. Hopefully this is going to save a lot of people's jobs. The fact that they don't need to pay to go to all these big exhibitions anymore, and they can just do it, they can host it all online.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's a positive. If that's going to save people's jobs, it means there's more people there doing this kind of stuff
Yeah.
in work. Then yeah, I'm all for it. And it's good that it has been you know, collated under the Summer Game Fest title. You know, that someone is taking responsibility for that to pull them all together, because yeah, the last couple of years it has felt very random, and almost as though some of the companies are like, oh well, they said they're doing theirs on June 7th, well ours is June 8th.
Yeah.
You know, better come to that one. Meanwhile, they're frantically struggling to get everything together. So at least it sets precedent to say that every June this is going to happen, and everyone needs to put their stuff out on this day.
Yeah, it's like any given. It's like it's usually 4 days. They usually run it from like the Friday, because this year it's taking place on Friday let me get the date up. Friday the 6th of June. No, Thursday. Friday the 7th of June, I should say, is when the Summer Games Fest is. We have, I think it's the Future Game Show on the 8th. Then there's the Xbox Showcase on the 9th, and then Ubisoft Forward is on the 10th. So it's usually just a couple of days, and I think there's kind of been a unanimous agreement that everyone's put stuff there. But without talking about E3 anymore, what do you want to see? What do you want to see at this event this year? There's obviously a bunch of developers there. Is there any notable developers? Oh, I'd love to see that game from them that we've heard rumblings about.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of interested in the Division this year, but I understand a lot of the content and the funding and that has been pulled, so I'm not too sure.
Yeah, from Heartlands, I think they're moving it over to Division 3, I believe.
Yeah,
because that's like the next thing that Ubisoft's focusing on. We could see it there. We could even see some more Assassin's Creed stuff. You never know.
Well, hopefully we're going to see some gameplay of Assassin's Creed. That would be fantastic. It'd be really cool to see some update on Fable. We've not heard anything about that since last year. Apart from, you know, that there was a trailer that came out. That was about it, really. And there was another one that came to mind, but I've forgotten now. But thinking about like Halo, you know, the future of some of those like old school game names that we know. It'd be good to know about where the direction of that, the direction of any of the new Gears, because there's been rumblings about Gears of War recently as well. You know, is there going to be something to do with that? And of course, the massive GTA.
Yeah, we might. Happen, right? We might see. Honestly, we probably won't see anything from GTA, at least from what rumblings they've said. They said it 2025 fall 2025, so like not this time next year, the end of 2025. So unless Rockstar decides to throw something else out. But this is also what I've shot up on screen here. This is the logo for the Xbox Games Showcase at the moment. But then we also have, obviously, with the Summer Games Fest partners, there was some rumblings just from some of the news stories I've seen, which is that 2K are actually going to be bringing one of their franchises. So 2K is revealing one of the biggest franchises at Summer Games Fest. Now, that could be BioShock. That could be Borderlands. It's probably going to be Borderlands if I'm going to put money on it.
A film coming out, haven't they? So
yeah, that's actually that could be like a good hype builder for the movie as well. They'll probably show off the movie as well at the Summer Games Fest, the next trailer for it, or whatever. Yeah. Just looking through some of the other names, though, Capcom could showcase something interesting, like maybe another Resi game or a update on Monster Hunter. Is it World? Like not World, like Wilds or whatever it is. The next Monster Hunter game. I personally am looking forward to Focus into Entertainment, because if that's shown, usually that means they're going to be showcasing something Space Marine related. Which, as a Warhammer 40k fan, yes, we want to see that. We're going to be finding out more stuff of that. By the time this video's out, probably going to be finding out some more stuff on it. Sega, more news on that. Like, do you remember at the Game Awards, they showcased like the bunch of games that they were remaking, like Jet Set Radio, Crazy Taxi, that type of stuff. But
Oh yes.
for games that aren't any necessarily related to Xbox or PlayStation, or like
Call of
maybe
Duty.
yeah,
well.
Call of Duty,
In the logo, yeah.
yeah. If there's any third-party games that you can think of that we haven't heard anything else from, like the perfect game announcement for you, what would it be? If it's not related to like Xbox or PlayStation or Nintendo, like I'm talking like maybe a new Tomb Raider gets announced, or I don't know, they bring back an old franchise. I don't know. At least for me, I would love to see. I mean, it's under Konami, I believe. I want to see a Castlevania game, like a 3D Castlevania game, but I don't know whether or not we're ever going to actually see that come to fruition at some point soon. But is there anything for you? Is there anything that you really want to see?
I really want to see Fable.
Yeah.
I do want to see Fable. I also want to see Indiana Jones. Want to see some more of that, and see what's going on. But if we're delving into the distant past of games, I used to love a game called Dropship.
Okay.
On the PlayStation, and that was awesome. So there you go. A new Dropship game would be fantastic. I'd love to see that.
I always love speculating these types of things at this time of year, especially. But seeing as you mentioned Fable, let's actually talk about the Xbox Game Showcase, because the Summer Games Fest, as the event itself, usually shows off a whole bunch of trailers and gameplay and stuff. But the real one I think I'm most looking forward to, I always say this to my friend, is the Xbox Game Showcase. Now, to preface, Xbox has had a bit of a turbulent 2024. Is a bit of a just a bit of an understatement to say that. But what we can see right here, at least from this, the main thing that we can garner is that we're going to get the Xbox Showcase, and then we're going to get something Call of Duty related. Now, I believe it's, from the rumors that I've heard, it's going to be something like Gulf War related, like say 1990s, because they've done Cold War, they've done what did they do before? They did Cold War, which is the most recent one. They did one before that was like the 50s, I think. I can't remember I lose track of Call of Duty at this point. Godzilla's in Call of Duty. That's when I lose my.
Apparently, yeah. Don't read too much into that.
Fable. That's the thing that you're most excited for. What is it about Fable that you want to see? What do you want to see from it when you see something at the showcase?
Yeah, I just want to see where it's going. We've only seen a CGI trailer of it so far. It'd be nice to see some gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
See if that's going to be a thing. Fable for me was always, get lost in a magical world. Fable 3, just superb. Just be able to run around, do as you please. I was disappointed that it got a bit canned, and I'm excited to see it restarting again. So want some news, want to see what's going on, want to see if there's any opportunities to voice stupid characters.
Yeah, for sure. I think my hype for Fable is kind of weird because I'm not a fantasy guy. It's weird. I'm a fantasy guy, but it's like a specific type of fantasy that I'm interested in. And I remember playing Fable 2. And I also remember playing Fable 3. And if I can recapture that type of feeling, then maybe Fable, the new Fable, will interest me there. For other games that aren't Call of Duty, because we know we're going to be getting Call of Duty, is there any other Xbox exclusive that you'd like to see information on?
Yeah, Indiana Jones, definitely.
Okay, so just more gameplay, because we got a little bit at the developer direct, but just more on that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it'd be good to know of a release date, know what's coming in the future.
Yeah, I think that, and I think the thing I was talking about to my friend the other week. There's a couple of guarantees that I want from this showcase for it to be good. If you want to, however you want to rate it, I think we need to see a Starfield DLC release date. I think we need to see an Avowed release date, and I think we need to see an Indiana Jones release date. And if they're all in the space of like 3 months, so it'd be like, I feel like September's the best time to drop like Starfield, being it's a year later. Then you do Avowed in November, and then December you do Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
That seems the most, at least, logical for me. In terms of other Xbox exclusives, the biggest one I want to see is State of Decay 3, because we've not heard anything from it for nearly 4 years at this point. That and also Contraband. If you remember that one that was shown off in like 2021, it's being made by the team that made Just Cause.
Oh right, yeah.
They're working on that State of Decay, and then after that, it's just kind of what Xbox really wants to do, because I don't know what Xbox wants to do at the moment. I don't know whether or not they want to bring out a big new franchise. A new Gears game would be pretty damn crazy to announce, like a remastered Marcus Phoenix collection. But I don't know. I'm actually a little bit not necessarily worried this time around, but like last year we kind of knew what we wanted with Starfield, right? We knew we were getting Starfield. We knew we were getting some other tasty stuff at the time. And then this year it's like, well, what's the next big thing? And I don't know. I can't answer that question.
Spider-Man coming to Xbox.
Yes, Spider-Man. Although, actually, now you say that, not just Spider-Man as a relevance, this is where my mind goes. Like PlayStation exclusives that were third party. Because of what Square Enix have done quite recently, they're saying that they want to go multi-platform with everything. How crazy would it be if they announced like another Final Fantasy game on like Final Fantasy 16? Not a new one, but like we're bringing 16 to Xbox, or we're bringing 7 remake to console, like to Xbox consoles. That I think would be huge. Would shake up like the industry across the board with how people would feel about it. But something like that could be kind of crazy. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not hyped this year more than anything. I don't know. It's the first time I'm not really hyped to see anything from Xbox, because I kind of think we know what it is. So
it's a good point. Yeah, don't really know what's coming. To be honest. Yeah, I mean, last year was lots of rumblings about Starfield and how excited we were for that.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of took over everything, really. And then everything else was just a bonus. So yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, really not sure.
Is there any? This is probably me showing my age here. Is there any old Xbox franchises that you would love to see them bring back at some point, like in some way? And if they did, they would just like a surprise. This is being made. Is there anything that you would go for?
Worms.
Yeah.
Not specifically Xbox.
Yeah.
Be good to see a Worms game. There's one. Yeah, again, not quite Xbox, but Jet Set Radio. Excited to see what's coming with that.
Yeah.
Trying to delve into the past, because there's so many. There was one that came to mind earlier as you were talking about. I've completely forgotten it now.
It's just me yapping. That's what it is. I'm talking too much, taking away the limelight. I think for me, for an Xbox, do you remember Conker? Like Conker's Bad Fur Day? I'd love to see that again. Banjo-Kazooie. We haven't heard anything from them in a while, but I don't know if Nintendo owns it. No, I think Xbox still owns Banjo-Kazooie. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they were on. They've been on Xbox. So.
But yeah, it's like I think I'm more excited for the Summer Games Fest because of what Jeff Keighley can bring when in terms of surprises there. Xbox, we already kind of know their lineup of games, and if they're adding anything new, then that's more of the surprise. I mean, it's probably better to kind of delve into the discussion of what Xbox needs to do to kind of rebuild faith with a lot of their players right now, because this year's been like, what do you make of it? What do you make of Xbox this year? Is it just kind of a bit disappointing? Are you excited still as a fan? What's your general thoughts?
They started off the year started off really well, and then all of a sudden just turned to poop. And they closed down a lot of studios which had been doing a lot of good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the closure of the studio that did Hi-Fi Rush. It's not a great look. And I know lots of people say this about people being paid in the higher ups, but why is it we've got all these people in the up top or the mid positions keeping their jobs when the people who are losing their jobs are the the artists and the devs, the people that actually put the game together. Without them, there wouldn't be anything to sell. So
Yeah.
surely, in these times of need, you cut down the salaries of the middlemen and the up tops.
Yeah.
Because if they want anything to do, then they need to lose some of their money, unfortunately. But that's quite a socialistic way of looking at things. But
I mean, it's a good way because it helps everyone keep their jobs at the end of the day. Like, I've been very vocal about it, and I've vocalized it a little bit on the channel, a little bit. I actually made a ranty video about a week or two ago after the Xbox thing actually happened. I just didn't upload it because I just didn't think it was at the quality that I wanted to. It was kind of just me ranting for 10 minutes about stuff. And some of the things that I kind of echoed from that point, which I can echo here, is that it doesn't matter if you make a good game, you could still lose your job. It doesn't matter if you make a bad game, like a good game, bad game, a game that sells well, or a game that doesn't sell well but is critically acclaimed. It doesn't seem to make any difference if it's not the profit margin that's being made. And the other thing that hurts the most about specifically Arcane Austin and also Tango Gameworks is that they were pitching another immersive sim Arcane were, like Prey and like Dishonored, right? One of those style games. They were pitching those. And then Hi-Fi Rush 2 was also being pitched as well. So you hear those stories as well and you're like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing? Why are we getting rid of these studios? And it just kind of makes you, like, not irrationally angry, but you just like, I don't know about you, but I kind of feel numb to the layoffs at the moment. Like, it's because it's just another week, another set of layoffs. Like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah.
Like, more people.
Seems like that.
And it's hard to put it into words, like how you feel sometimes about like people that have made things that you've enjoyed, especially me. How many times have I spoke to you about Hi-Fi Rush? I think I never stop talking about it to people. I think it's one of the best games of this generation. So yeah, that's at least a thing. I think that's kind of tainted the water a little bit with Xbox, especially after doing all the acquisitions that they've got, and then they've had to lay off people as well. Yeah,
good move, Xbox.
Yeah, and I suppose there are a lot of good side of things. Like, I personally still think Game Pass is incredible value for money. I think it's incredible for gamers in general. But if it's not sustainable, then especially with the way AAA games industry is going at the moment, the games are getting more expensive to make, that type of stuff. It's how does that make a profit, which is ultimately what it comes down to. Money, money, money. But I suppose the bright spark to the future is, what do you want to see from the rest of this year in terms of like games after it could be from this event? Like, what do you want to see change? Because at least for me, I want to see the developers that have made good games be rewarded. Like, I've seen a lot of stuff with Capcom that they've increased the amount of pay that their employees get because they've made so much. Like, they've made a lot of money from the games and stuff that they've made, so they're rewarding their people that work there. I know Larian just opened up another studio to help with making games, so more people are able to have more jobs there. But is there anything that you really want to see change, at least, or be hopeful about in the games industry before the end of the year?
Yeah, that a lot of the people who have lost their jobs end up being able to take their ideas somewhere else and develop them, rather than being lost to the fabric of the internet. It'd be nice to see a lot of the things that have been canned at least reuse as assets in other games. You hear about it often, especially the Star Wars universe. A lot of people go on, and we don't need to mention it. I just don't want that talent and imagination being lost because of money.
Yeah, that's the thing that, as you mentioned, just talent. Like, there's so many good developers out there that some people don't realize that they're actually human and that they've made some of the amazing things. And it's hard to
human teams behind all of this.
Yeah, it's very hard to picture that. And the thing I would like to see, I don't think it will happen, purely because it's not. suppose, a good marketing tactic or whatever it is. I would like to see at these events, and I know a couple other people have said this as well, address it. Address the people that have lost their jobs. Address the people that they've, like, you don't even have to go, oh, we're deeply sorry, that we've lost all these people, and like make it so because we know why you've done it. Just be like, we acknowledge that we've let people go, and like we can be better. That type of thing, kind of like a responsibility, like owning up to their responsibility of stuff, especially with Xbox, man, because they've spent so much money that they need to say something. And especially the Summer Games Fest, there's so many developers and stuff there. I'd love to see at least Jeff say something, but I don't know if it'll really happen, sadly. But yeah, that's all I can end on that specific point. But yeah, I think we've kind of rounded out the conversation a little bit there. So it's been quite good. We've had a lot of discussion about Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is up on the screen. I'm very excited for Assassin's Creed Shadows, as always. Is there any closing thoughts that you want to share? And this could be about all the things we've discussed. You have the floor, my friend.
Oh, thank you so much, sir. Yeah, just I hope that we see some gameplay for Assassin's Creed at some point in the future. And it's they seem to be going full hard on it, with statues and figurines and things. So let's hope that it is the game that they're promising it will be. Or otherwise I will be sad.
We will all be sad. We'll be there.
And yeah, just to all the game devs and artists out there that are struggling to find work at the moment, and hoping that the future is bright for them to move on to something else, and so that they don't get all that creativity doesn't get lost.
Yeah, because there's a hell of a lot of people out there that deserve to be making games, at least what we enjoy, because that's all we care about. I care about just games, man. I care about playing games, and I care about enjoying them and the art form itself, because it's so special. But to kind of round off today, this type of video that I'm making, I would like to make more consistently and more of a podcast with a bit more structure, that type of stuff. And I'd love to have Matty on and in and around and stuff once again. I love talking about games, and I know Matty enjoys talking about games as well. And if you have enjoyed this style of video, please let me know down in the comment section, and I will hope to, bring up these types of videos once again. More of an honest, long-form, open discussion rather than being heavily scripted and that type of thing. So, where can they find you, Matty? Where on all the different platforms?
They can find me at Pratty Matty at most places.
So is that on Twitter,
TikTok, Instagram? I think YouTube is Pratty Matty GG, but both will get to me.
Okay, nice. I think you probably have your links somewhere on your Twitter as well. I'll put them in the description, and I'll try and put them on the bottom of here anyway, in post somewhere and around. They're probably on my face right now. I'll probably just put one on or even on your face. It depends on where I want to decide to put them. So, with that being said, guys, thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you all in the next video. If you have enjoyed this type of content, leave a like on the video, subscribe as always. And this has been It's Jimbo and Pratty Matty, and I'll see you guys next time.